career journey started, I guess, right after high school. I didn't go to university right away. I worked for 5 years, and that gave me an opportunity to see CPAs in action, actually. So I was working in a company in the accounting, and I saw how the controller was involved in the business. I saw how the auditors worked in the business. And I had always planned on going back to university, but didn't really know what I was going to go into. And seeing the CPA in action, I thought, yeah, I can do that. I'd be interested in that. So by the time I went to university, I had a clear goal of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be involved in the overall management of a company. And I saw that a CPA designation was a good route for that. So then I obtained a business degree, articled at Price Waterhouse, and after 8 years at Price Waterhouse, went into industry. I was at one company, PowerX, for close to 25 years, and I was always the most senior finance person there, CFO, and then on to CEO. But it was always interesting and challenging because the electricity sector was changing. It was deregulated in the 1990s in Alberta and the US, and it provided PowerX huge opportunity in those markets. So there was always lots of opportunities, lots of challenges, lots of ways to learn. As I became CEO, I started thinking about, well, what's after CEO? And what's after CEO I thought was governance. And that's when I took the ICD program and started to get involved with boards, advisory boards, or Vancity was the board I also joined while I was still at PowerX. So that's probably a nutshell, but it just opened so many doors being a CPA, and you sort of could take it in what direction you wanted to. And it went so far beyond financial reporting and accounting. I always was really interested in the business aspects and involved in the overall business. And I was able to do that in the organizations I've been involved with.
Being KPMG's National Education Sector Leader has been so meaningful to me through the years. I was in that role for about 5 or so years. And one of my most important initiatives that I had when I was a National Education Leader really was all about collaboration. It was about getting the teams across the country to collaborate with each other. And it wasn't just within KPMG here, locally in Vancouver, but it was, collaborating between the local folks, the national folks, as well as with our global teams. And I found that when we did that, there was just so much energy that came from the team. I think everyone thought that it was very valuable to them as well. And it really ended up making a very significant, positive impact on all of our teams because it changed the way that we worked with one another. We also learned from each other in a very different way. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, it also impacted the way that we interacted with our clients, who we really want to bring a lot of value to in the higher education space. Throughout most of my career at KPMG, I worked primarily with public sector organizations and not-for-profit organizations. And through the years working with them, I realized that that is really where my passion was. It was to work with those types of organizations. Years later, I joined the Public Sector Accounting Board, and I found a lot of value being on that board. I think that I was able to contribute in many different manners, and especially using the technical skills that I had from being a CPA. And being on the PSAB board allowed me to serve the public interest by contributing to their governance as well as their financial health. The people on the PSAB board are remarkable, and I've really enjoyed working with all of them, coming together with standards that we believe are going to be good for the sector. So I would say I am really grateful for being able to be on the public sector board.
I started my career more in professional practice before moving to academia. I was looking for a place that I can integrate maybe both education and practice. And I've been working at Simon Fraser University in full-time capacity from 2013. I have worked in different capacities with CPABC and CPA Canada as instructor, as well as helping them with the development of some of the modules early on in the CPA program. And then I have served on a number of national committees, including CPA Sustainability Advisory Board, as well as lead judge for CPA Sustainability Reporting Committee. I'm a long-time believer that accountants are crucial and instrumental in addressing many of the climate change issues and sustainability issues that we are facing. Through my work with CPA Sustainability Advisory Board, as well as the CPA Canada's Reporting Award Committee, I was motivated to ensure that sustainability and accountability is embedded into professional practice, not just as an add-on. I feel like all the initiatives that CPA Canada, along with educational institutions, have taken in terms of impact, like before, like let's say several years ago, those initiatives were seen more as an extracurricular, so they were not embedded into the curriculum. But the awareness has changed, and accountants increasingly feel responsible, and the students as well, about addressing those. And sustainability concepts are embedded into courses, into the programs, into the professional practice. So I feel the culture has been shifting and changing in addressing those issues as a result of the work that has been done.
My journey actually started in Vancouver. Went to UBC, went and articled actually downtown. It was a predecessor of one of the big 5 firms, and had the opportunity, once I got my designation, to go and work at a helicopter company in South Richmond. So I ended up doing that. And they were going to close down the offices there, and so I transferred to Edmonton, worked at a helicopter company there, and branched out, worked at another company, met my husband, got married there, and we ended up in Prince George. So and raised our family. We've got a daughter. And actually went back into public practice in Prince George and worked for a large firm and then a small firm. While I was in Prince George, I was actually given the opportunity to be on the board of one of our predecessors. Then was involved in the merger, so was on the first board of CPABC. And then continued on and became chair of the board. One of the skills that I really learned is, and it really is an art, and it's the art of listening. I have been in a position, where I want to make some comments about something. I know the answer, but I'm not really listening to what other people are saying. And it's really important. And I don't mean sitting back and waiting for everybody else to contribute before I contribute. It's really about making my comments, making sure that I'm not repeating what anybody is saying. So it's really listening. One thing I've found in meetings is that by listening, you get others' points of view, and they may be different. But they bring a different perspective in terms of their life experiences, their learnings, their business experiences. So that's really helped me, again, to listen to what they say. And I have been in a position where someone will say something and I'm go, wow, I've never looked at it, or never seen or done something or heard something like that. And it sometimes it does make me change my position, so I'm always glad that I've taken the time to listen.
My journey to becoming a CPA was interesting. It goes back to when I was in high school. I happened to take a bookkeeping class, and I found it very interesting. I loved math, and so of course I thought this is the ideal career for me. And I kind of went through high school, went to university, decided I was going to get my CA degree at the time, and turns out what I was doing in the bookkeeping class is nothing what I do today. It's changed, it's more diverse, more interesting. I decided to specialize in tax, where I'm not doing so much numbers as I'm doing analysis, planning, research. So things that I didn't particularly like, i.e. English, turns out what I'm doing mostly day to day. But what I really love about my job is just helping clients, helping them navigate the tax rules, trying to provide simplicity in their estate plans, help them achieve their goals and objectives. I particularly like helping clients with their charitable giving, because it meshes both my passion for the sector and my client work. It's kind of a natural fit. Professionally, the thing I'm the most proud of is my involvement with the Death of a Taxpayer publication. I first got involved back in the 11th edition in 2016, and there were significant technical changes in terms of estate planning and charitable giving, and the book required a significant rewrite. It was a lot of time and energy put into it. It was probably the toughest thing I've ever done professionally, and I knew that so many people were going to be relying on it, so it was important to get it right and get it as perfect as I possibly could. So that would be the thing I'm the most proud of. And then within KPMG, the thing I would be the most proud of is trust reporting. So in 2024, all tax practitioners were faced with these new set of rules, and I designed a frequently asked question publication or book that the firm could use. So everyone from coast to coast could go in and review the book, look for questions and answers, and we could share best practices and knowledge and achieve efficiency, all for the ultimate benefit of our client. Again, that was something new, it was evolving, it was complex, and that would be the thing I'm most proud of within KPMG.
I firmly believe that CPAs make some of the most impactful board members, especially if they're well-rounded leaders and great communicators. CPAs bring a powerful blend of technical expertise, of business acumen, of diverse experience, and of relevant competencies, all of which are a natural fit for leadership and governance roles. And as financial leaders, we're in a unique position where we have insight into a whole organization. We already have the unique opportunity to be trusted strategic advisors. We're already helping clients and colleagues assess risks and analyze and provide insights and help make informed decisions. And these are all core competencies for being on a board. So in today's environment, I firmly believe that the most effective boards are ones that have directors that have skills like strategic and forward-looking, able to see around corners, able to focus on the really critical issues and understand what it means for the future. Board members who are curious and courageous, ask insightful questions and challenge assumptions. Board members who have great judgment and critical thinking skills, and board members that have excellent collaboration and communication skills. Kind of transparent and candid conversations that lead to truly generative discussion. And I think CPAs have all of these qualities. They learn naturally initially through their training or through their articling, and eventually in their career advancement.
A pivotal moment in my career was when I decided to return to the profession. I remember the weekend of the decision very well. It was the Thanksgiving weekend in 1999. I had two job directions I was looking at. One was to be a technology CFO. The other was to return to the profession, become a partner at Deloitte. As I thought through it, it was clear I would make more money as a technology CFO. However, I also realized that becoming a partner at Deloitte would allow my wife and my family to live in a lifestyle that we were comfortable with. So I took money out of the equation and said, okay, what do you want to do? What is important to you? And there were three things that came to mind. Intellectual stimulation. Nobody pays you for answers to easy questions. And so as a professional, you're always being stimulated intellectually. You're being forced to think on the edges of your ability. I miss that in industry. I miss being a mentor. You don't have so many young professionals around in industry as you do in the profession. I get a lot of reward out of helping people make career choices as they go forward. The third thing was collegiality, the partnership collegiality that we have. You have partners all over the firm. You can go in, sit in their office, talk about business, but also talk about a whole bunch of other things. Those were the three reasons that I decided to return to the profession. When I was chair of Deloitte, one of the most important conversations I had with the managing partner was early on, and we decided to prioritize investment over earnings. Now, as all of the accountants know, when you do that, that leads to volatility in earnings. But we decided at the beginning of every year, we'd decide the investments we needed to make, and we would make them, regardless of where partner earnings went. Now, we had a couple of tough years. Partner earnings went down. I had directors come to me and say, are you sure? Like, maybe we should be pulling back on our investments. But we never wavered. We kept investing. And that investment led us to accelerating growth, pulling away from the competition, and inevitably, much increased partner earnings.
Ten years ago, when we unified the three legacy accounting bodies, I was part of the 9-member team, 3 from each of the 3 accounting associations, that was tasked with creating a successful merger. And we found it was important. Then we learned that many of the members of their respective accounting bodies were very proud of their designations and therefore reluctant to merge. And we can understand why many were proud, because many years of hard work went into studies and hard work to get their accounting designations. And so we could understand, as I said, why they were proud. What I found was it was important to listen to our members, to learn what's important to them and to understand their realities. And as a result, I'm very proud of what's happened over the last 10 years since we've been one profession. We're over 40,000 chartered professional accountants in British Columbia. We also represent CPA members in foreign jurisdictions. We represent them here in BC, such as foreign jurisdictions like Hong Kong. And I think we are recognized for our trust, our integrity, our leadership. We provide high quality advice, and we're also recognized for protecting the public interest, which means protecting shareholders in their companies, but also looking at the impact that government and charities make to our communities. So very proud of what CPAs are doing in this province and in Canada. I went to PwC Hong Kong initially for a 2-year secondment from Vancouver. And on the first day there, I got an empty office and no clients. And so I was tasked with building a client practice from scratch, using my Canadian tax background and learning Hong Kong tax. And it worked out very well for over the next 2 years. And so at the end of the secondment, the firm there offered me partnership in Hong Kong. And I became the only partner that was born and raised in North America. So I was working with people from different cultures. My favorite experience in my time in Hong Kong was living and working in a different culture. Now, obviously it's a Chinese culture, but it had Western business influences in it. But I was working in our office with people from at least 17 different countries around the world, and each had their own unique background to how they approached work and life. And so to be able to work with them, learn from them, was just a fantastic, unique experience that I really enjoyed.
It's important to be a voice in shaping both accounting standards, auditing standards, and tax policy. I think that's one of the duties that goes beyond simply being a practitioner. I think we all have an obligation to ensure that reality is reflected in all the developments of national policies, and to be a voice to make sure that there's a check and balance in the system, that practice does reflect theory, and that these changes are accretive to a functioning market, to people. The work that we do is very, very important in shaping people's lives and livelihoods and the markets. And I think it's really important to make sure that our voices are heard. We have an obligation, a positive obligation, to make a positive difference on shaping those standards, on shaping all of the policies that will affect the go forward in the future. So I think all of us have that requirement to step out and be more than just a professional and do your job. I think you have to give back to the profession. It's something that is a positive obligation on all of us. In today's world of data and AI, one thing for sure that all of us have to maintain and hone our skills on is judgment. Data and AI gives us lots and lots of information, but what it doesn't give is judgment. So this is one of the most essential skills and one of the best skills you learn as a CPA, is learn how to evaluate all the information, learn to what it means and how to process it, and not just take it at face value that the answer is the answer. You have to apply judgment to everything and to really understand its true meaning behind it. A CPA is not merely an analyst or an analytical, but they're people, and this is a people business. I think the profession is becoming ever more relevant. We are moving away from being just scorekeepers or historians to architects of the future. We have a lot of knowledge and a lot of ability to really help shape and enhance the future, and we need to use that going forward. So I see a CPA's role and the profession increasing as a voice of bringing the whole human race forward in a way by making sure we have all the checks and balances in place, and that data has its proper spot, wisdom has its proper spot, but the direction is also set with a human in the loop. To all my CPABC colleagues, I am so sorry I can't be with you tonight. I am truly honored to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award, made only more special by two of my good friends, Glenn Ives and Barry McDonald, who are also receiving it. Makes the honor so much richer. And so I want to thank CPABC. A shout out to Lori. Thank you very much, Lori, for all the work you do for CPABC. It's incredible what your organization, our organization, does for all the members. I also want to give a special shout out to the new fellow CPAs, many of them who are my partners or colleagues, including Pam, CJ, Sheila, Shelley. How you doing, Shelley? Great to see you. You're well-deserved. Great working with you. And I also want to say a special congratulations to Teresa and Jamal. Wishing you all the best. I hope to see you in April. Very sorry I couldn't be there. I'm stuck in Toronto at some board meetings that I just can't get out of. But please know how deeply honored I am and humbled by this very special dedication and award. Thank you very, very much.